If you're planning to visit Mexico in 2022, this video is for you. Mexico has implemented some new rules when it comes to immigration. It used to be normal that when you arrived, you would get 180 days without any questions asked, basically. Well, that is not true anymore. Mexico is cracking down on visa runners or border runners, whatever you want to call them. Basically just people that come to Mexico and live here without the residency visa. When you arrive, you have to fill out an FMM form, which stands for Forma Migratoria Multiple. This paper basically just states your name, your address, your personal information, and also the amount of days that you are allowed to stay in Mexico. With these new rules, it's harder and harder to get full 180 days. Depending on the immigration officer, you might get way less than you would imagine. And if you are anything like me and trying to travel slow and without any plans, it will be very hard for you to convince them to give you 180 days. So what can you do to get as many days as possible for your stay in Mexico? First of all, I was just preparing every document possible, meaning outwards ticket, accommodation bookings, maybe even your financial statements. I made the mistake of not having an outwards ticket back home, and the immigration officer didn't like that at all. They asked me the purpose of my travels and I said touristic, and even when I said that, they still put on the FMM, instead of tourism, they put others. So I think they just thought that I'm going to spend more time and try to live here and maybe, you know, make money online or whatever. There's a lot of digital nomads, people working from abroad, and they just live here, and they don't want that anymore. They want these people to get residency permits and not just overstay their visit. So even after talking to the immigration officer and explaining that I'm traveling and I want to spend 3 months in Mexico, I only got 21 days, which is something that has been happening to a lot of people. Just go to any Facebook group talking about Mexico and you will find a lot of people asking about FMM and how many days did anybody get. I even heard about one case where some guy asked about 15 days and he only got 10. So this is not only a case for people who want to spend several months in Mexico, this is also important for anybody coming to Mexico right now. So tip number 1 would be to prepare an outward ticket. That will be probably the most important thing you can prepare. Another tip, and this one is not very useful, because I didn't do it and I can't imagine planning my trip for several months, but they wanted to see some confirmation of bookings, your accommodation. So if you do book in advance a lot, then I would suggest preparing that as well. Print it out and bring it with you. Tip number 2 would be preparing the FMM online. If you Google FMM online, you can actually find the official Mexican website that will allow you to fill out the form online, pay for it online as well. It's 500 pesos, I think. And if you print it out with the receipt of the payment for this FMM form, that might help as well, because when you do it online, the form will automatically give you 180 days, no matter how long your stay is. It depends on the officer, if he will be nice enough to take that online form that you filled out. Because sometimes it happens that they actually don't care about any pre-filled forms and they want you to fill a new one once you arrive. But these tips are for people that are coming to Mexico. So what about people that are already in Mexico and didn't get enough days? Well, there is not much you can do actually. If you have arrived and you got less days than you need, then you unfortunately have to leave the country and try to come back. One of the ways that I used as well was going to Guatemala and then coming back to Mexico through a land border. This can work, but it doesn't have to necessarily. I was lucky enough that I got a really nice officer at the land border from Guatemala to Mexico, and there was no problem for me to get 180 days that way. But yeah, overall, if you're coming, come prepared, print everything out and get ready for the immigration officer. If you're already here and didn't get enough time, like I said, unfortunately you have to leave the country. Some people actually suggested that you can overstay your FMM, and then when you're leaving the country, you will just pay a small fee. I'm not going to suggest that, of course, because that is illegal, but there is a lot of people doing that. The only problem with this solution is that if you get stopped by an officer on the street that will ask you about your passport and your FMM, and they will see that you overstayed your visit, you can be deported from Mexico. So it is really up to you. How much do you want to risk being deported? But this is basically everything you need to know about FMM and coming to Mexico. If you have any questions, you can ask me in the comments and I'll try to answer all the questions. And if you found this video helpful, don't forget to click the like button and subscribe, and I will see you next time. But until then, ciao!